Every time you take a photo, you're going to be creating a file. So the more photos you take, the more files you have. The more files you have, the higher the chances of, number one, you losing your files, or number two, your files getting corrupted or getting misplaced in your system. And I always say one of the biggest mistakes a photographer can do is losing undelivered work. You went and shot, but between the time you shot and the time you're supposed to deliver, something happened in between here to those particular files, and you ended up losing them. Sometimes you might be lucky, it is a redoable job. Maybe it was just a portrait shoot, you can redo that, but assume it was a wedding, and that wedding had cost 5 million shillings to plan. Are you going to give them that money to do the wedding again? No, it's not going to be possible. So one of the things that is going to make you a good photographer and keep you in business for so long, and one of those things that I hardly hear many trainers talk about, is file management. So in this particular video, I'll show you guys my way of managing files that has ensured that for the last 9 years I've been shooting as a pro photographer, I have never lost my files. I've never lost undelivered work. And how is it possible? By having a nice and systematic way of managing files. So this particular video, I'm going to take you guys through my 5 ways of managing files, especially for editing in Lightroom or generally for photography. So without further ado, let's go to the first point. So the first thing I'm going to start with is if your camera allows, please create a folder for each shoot in your camera, because many modern day cameras, they give you the ability to create a folder that is going to contain the photos within the camera without you having to go to do that in a computer. So the benefit of that is, instead of having one folder with 1 million images, you can create a folder for each day or for each client in case you shoot several clients in a day. So client A, they have their folder with 50 photos. Client B, they have their folder with 30 photos. Client C, they have their folder with 120 photos, and so on and so forth. So if your camera can allow you to create a new folder for each shoot or for each client, please do that as the first step. So then point number 2, make sure that you have enough cards, because I've seen people who have to start deleting some images to make space for more as they are still shooting. So one of the things that you really need a lot of as a photographer is space, both in the form of cards. It's a 32, a 64, 128 GB cards, and nowadays they are very affordable, because you can get maybe a 64 GB card with a light speed of 140 Mbps, like for around 2,000 shillings. Back then it was around 4,000 or even more expensive. So please have enough cards. Have enough cards. You do not want to be the photographer who is going to have 3 shots remaining on a wedding and it is still 1 p.m. They have not even gone to the photo shoot. So please have as much shooting space as possible, because like I said in the first point, you need to create a folder for every shoot. And for you to create a folder in every shoot, you need to make sure that you have enough space for you to save these photos and to save these folders. Okay, so that is the second point. The first one was creating a folder for each shoot. Then the second one was having enough cards. Then the third one, which is the very important point, is always copy your photos immediately you can. I always say I have this paranoia. Even if I was shooting late into the night and I got home at 4 a.m., I'm going to turn on this system. I'm going to turn on this system and copy my files before I sleep. I always have a wild dream that I can sleep without copying the files. Then for some weird reason, the camera just maybe formats the card or corrupt the photos, and I'm going to cry early in the morning. So I've seen people who share cards and who share cameras. Someone shoots today, they come and leave their photos in the camera and in the card, and they go. So the other person who comes, who uses the same gear, comes tomorrow, picks the same camera and the same card. They need space, so they format the card and they go shoot. But the person who shot yesterday did not copy their file. So when they come back, they struggle because someone has lost their work. So always make sure that you have enough cards. And also, like I've said in the first point, a folder for each shoot. And like I said in the third point, copy your photos after every shoot. The moment you get home or the moment you get to your PC, copy those files immediately. And now, after copying your files immediately, gets me to the fourth point, which is going to now take us to the computer itself. So number one, when you copy your photos, let me just see if I can get some images here. Let me just put one of the cards, see what I have. So here you go. It's a one that is full. So like you can see this particular card, I have how many? I have 1, 2, 3. I have 8 folders. So these are eight different shoots. Like I can see, I had a wedding here. I had some class photos here with my student, and I have so much here. But now, when like I said in the first step, when I create a folder for each shoot, it is going to be very easy for me to just copy these folders and put them somewhere in my system. And now, before I copy this folder and put them in my system, I'm going to give a very big warning to you guys. Please avoid putting your files in the following locations. Number 1, desktop. Number 2, documents. Number 3, downloads. Number 4, music. Number 5, pictures. Number 6, videos. For what reasons? All of these locations are in your local disk C, where you have your operating system. This one right here. Okay, and in case anything happens to your system, because when you first use Windows, one of the first go-to remedies for fixing your system is formatting a computer. And when you format your computer, you're going to lose everything that is in these particular locations: a desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos. You're going to edit anything that is in the local disk C. All of those you're going to lose. Okay, so one of the things that I really avoid is saving my files in any of these locations. So what do you do? Number 1, partition your system. If you just have one hard disk, maybe that is 320 GB, 500 GB, or 1 TB, have them partitioned such that you have a disk C partition that is going to be for installing your software and running your system. Then you're going to have a disk D like I have here that is going to be for storing your files. Okay, so then after you partition your system, like I said, the first step is partition your system. Do not save your files in your local disk D, in your local disk C. Do not save your files in your local disk C. I have been attacked by ransomware and I've lost all my files, and it is not pretty. Okay, so when that happens, you're going to lose anything that I said is in the desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, and videos. Okay, so in your chosen location of choice, I'm going to teach you what I'm going to be calling the fifth point, which here is the hierarchy of files. And if you open my, I normally use this as my primary storage hard disk. That is red. And if I open it, I'm going to find I have an inflow folder. So the order of the hierarchy is going to be, inflow is where I'm putting all photos that are coming into the system. Okay, that's why I'm calling it inflow. So I'm going to have a folder that is year. So then within the folder that is the year, I'm going to have a folder for the month. Then within the folder for the month, I'm going to have a folder for each job. Okay, so if you look at my system, I have a folder that is named 2024 inflow. If I open it, I get a folder for each month of this particular year. And if I open the most recent month, which is August, I'm going to get all the jobs that I've shot here, and they have been nicely put in folders like that. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of my files. I start with number 1, partition or external hard disk. So then number 2, I'm going to have an inflow folder. Then I'm going to have a folder for the year. Then I'm going to have a folder for the month. Then I'm going to have a folder for each event within the month, that particular folder. And lastly, which is the most, which is going to be the 6th point, have a backup, because you can see in my system I have a backup here, whereby I copy most of the files that are here to this particular system, this particular folder, and this folder, this particular hard disk is not in the system all the time, apart from when I'm copying files into it. That way, in case something happens to this particular folder, I have a backup here. And that was a very nice and brief introduction to file management, and where I showed you guys one of the things that you need to do is, number 1, create a folder in camera for each particular shoot, and number 2, have a hierarchy of files in your system. Do not save files in your local disk C. Partition your computer, then have a hierarchy of start with a folder for the year, a folder for the month, then within the folder for the month, have a folder for each job within the month or a folder for each client, and you're never going to lose your files. So see you guys in the second video, or in the third video, sorry, as I start on the process of culling photos using Picasa. The name is Simon Lines. See you guys in the next one. Thank you.